Welcome back, everyone. Today I want to talk about the way that we begin a personal narrative. There are a lot of ways to begin a personal narrative, and I really encourage you, if you have the time, to even Google that and see how real writers handle that when they write things for publication. You're going to find some gorgeous ways to begin your writing. One thing I would like you to play around with, and I'm going to model for you, is using dialogue to begin. Dialogue puts your character or your speaker, who is probably you, in conversation with someone else. That someone else doesn't have to be a person. That someone else can be an object. That someone else can be a pet or an animal. That someone else could be a spiritual being or a higher power. Oftentimes, when we use dialogue at the beginning of a personal narrative, we're able to reveal what a character thinks or how a character feels without having to directly state it, which makes readers much more comfortable. It helps them sink into the story. It helps them feel like they're the ones that are either observing a conversation or being even invited into one. So, in today's lesson, you're going to see in the links on the lesson page examples of how I might use dialogue to start my own personal narrative. And I invite you to explore them and tinker with them and play with them and try to do the same. This lesson is a second video lesson that's accompanying the first. You can use the loose parts and use all sorts of other modes to build out your character in the setting and get a sense of who this story is going to introduce readers to and where they're going to be. And I'm assuming that that's you before you take on this dialogue lesson. But I wanted to add this one in because I think that it might be of use to some of you. And when you look at my examples that follow, hopefully you'll get a sense of how you might use dialogue in your own reading as well, or writing as well. Now, what if it doesn't fit? That's all right. It's okay if it doesn't end up in your draft, but I'd like you to experiment with it a little bit. I love writing each piece of my story a few different ways before I choose which way I'm going to go. This kind of tinkering is sort of the same way we play with Legos or Play-Doh, or, even when we sketch and we erase and draw something over again. Tinker around with the beginning of your story. Use some different approaches. Take a look at how I did mine in the draft that you see in the links, and then try to compose your own. Your goal is to make and then write the beginning of your personal narrative today. I'll see you next time.